Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back. And if you're new today, hello and welcome. And if anytime during this video you find like you're having a great time, I hope you do consider hitting that subscribe and notification bell and coming back to join us. So today we're doing a full face of makeup under $60. I know that still seems like a high price point, but honestly, it's a full face of really good makeup. So if that seems like something you might enjoy, please stick around because we're about to get into all that right now. So happy Mother's Day. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I would love to hear all about what you guys did. I actually have a huge surprise coming and I have to be quiet because my mom's right above me. My oldest sister from Florida, she's on a flight right now to come surprise my mom on Mother's Day. So today's actually Friday and Mother's Day is on Sunday. So that is going to be so exciting. My mom is just going to lose her mind when she sees my oldest sister come through that front door. I'm super excited because I haven't seen her in a very long time as well. So it's going to be a very exciting weekend. I'm super excited. But let's get into this makeup. I have a full face of makeup for under $60, and I realize it's still a lot of money. And I do see other creators doing a full face of makeup under 50, under 30, under 20. And I honestly don't know how they do that because I had a hard time coming up with what I have here. But I did want a variety. I didn't want a bunch of just e.l.f. products or hard candy or Wet n Wild. I wanted a variety. So I hope I accomplished that here today. And I also want to share with you how nice affordable makeup can look that you don't have to spend a fortune on. Okay, the eyes are all primed and the palette I'm going to be using today is this one here by Lamora. This is such a great palette. It's an all matte palette and it only costs $7.99 over on Amazon and it goes on sale quite often. And this is called the Exquisite Timeless En Vogue That's Matte Palette. And look at the shades inside. It's so beautiful. You know, you can go warm, you can go neutral, a little bit of cool. So it's a really nice palette. The only thing is there's no mirror. But I think I'm going to start again with this shade here. Again, I've just been really enjoying an all matte palette or all matte look, especially for summer. I don't know, it's just very soft. It's perfect for the daytime. So yeah, and this formula again is just wonderful. Okay, and again, basically just like the other day, I think I'm going to start with this shade here in the inner corner. I'm kind of going to work backwards because there is no shimmer in this palette, so it's almost like you kind of have to. So I'm just going to place that quite a bit in my inner corner just to really brighten that area up. Yeah, an all matte look, if you've never tried it, you really need to, especially for daytime. It just creates that softness. I just been really liking it. I never thought I would love an all matte look, but it is just really just different. Again, just a really nice softness. Okay, so where I think I'm going to go now with my shirt, I don't know, there's a few different options I can go with. I'm almost tempted to go right here. Let's just do it. I'm not doing much today. So I'm just going to take a fluffy brush. And again, I'm going into that orange shade. Oh, here we go. This could be a little, no, it's not too bad. It's a really pretty like tangerine orange. And again, these just blend out beautifully. If you've never tried the Lamora palette, you really need to. I said that in my last video because their formula for the price is just crazy. I mean, I cannot believe that these shadows perform this well for like $7.99. They have dupe palettes for the Natasha Denona. They have one for the Glamour palette, and I Need a Nude palette is the ones for sure that they have a dupe for. So definitely check those out, especially if you don't want to spend the $70 on a palette. Yeah, I think all of theirs, they're less than $10. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, so that looks kind of fun. We're going to make this work, but I really do like that shade. I think for summer, this is just going to be a super fun. So that's all I'm going to do right now. But as you can see how they just kind of blends out, there's almost, it turns like a little bit of a yellow there. So yeah, it just kind of fades out really beautifully. Okay, so where I think I'm going to go now, the next shade I think I'm going to do is, this is going to be crazy, you guys, but I think just with this shirt, I'm just tempted to go with this shade now. So this would be a great palette for fall as well. Let's see what this does. This might be a crazy look, one of the craziest looks I've done in a very long time. But again, we're just having fun with makeup. I'm not going anywhere special, so if it's too bad, I will just remove it. That's what you can always tell yourself. Okay, if we don't like where it's going, we can always start over. But I'm actually liking this. Okay, and with that shade, I'm going to sweep that a little bit along the lash line just to add just a little bit of depth in there. And when I do that, yeah, they just kind of, I don't know, they almost like go like an ombre look. Okay, and I'm just going to creep that little, I don't know what shade that would be, maybe a rust shade into that tangerine shade and just kind of blend the two together. And then with that shade too, I'm going to go more towards my inner corner, but more up higher. I'm not going to go really in this area. As you can see, I have almost like a crease right here, and that's where I'm going to avoid being in. I'm just going to go in there ever so slightly and just add a little bit of color there. And that's going to create like a almost like a cut crease look. Okay, and now I do want to go into, let's go into this shade here. This one and this one are quite similar, but I think I'm going to go into, yeah, this one here. It just has almost like a hint of a red undertone to it. So I think that will go really well with this look. And I'm just going to add that deeper into this outer corner here. I'm not going to go way out here. I'm just going to stay right here at this outer edge, just really focused in that area. And I'm not going to go too crazy. It's actually going to be a little softer, believe it or not. I mean, you could really take this look into a very bold look, but I do want to keep it just a little softer, just so it's not too loud. And what I love about these shades too, I mentioned it in the last video, when I go to blend into the other shades, the other shade doesn't kind of disappear. They all remain separate, so I can tell a distinct difference between all these shades. Okay, so yeah, I think I'm definitely going to have to go back into that lighter shade. This one here, that one, the brightest shade in the palette. And I'm going to place that on a more flat brush. And again, go in this inner corner. And I packed it on pretty good. And I'm going to really lighten this inner corner up. Now, if I grab, if you grab too much, there might be a little bit of fallout of that shade, but that's okay. It does blend in pretty good once you get moving it around. And then I'm also going to take that shade and place that up towards my brow bone just to really brighten that area up. And then once you add eyeliner, mascara, and all that, it really just takes a whole different look. So I'm going to do my other eye. I'll come back and we'll move on with the rest of the products. Okay, and to save a little money for my eyeliner, I think I'm just going to use this deep brown shade here in the palette. And what I do is just place a little bit of setting spray on the back of my hand, or you can place it in a container or something like that. I'm going to pack my brush with that really deep chocolate shade. And then what I do is just kind of tap into my setting spray just to make it more liquidy. And then if you need to, you can always go back into the palette and grab more. So hopefully this will work good as an eyeliner. I've done this with other eyeshadows, but I have not tried it with this palette here. So it seems to be working pretty good. I do have other palettes where it works a little better, and it also could be the setting spray that isn't working the best with that, but it's doing the job. So in a pinch, this is such a great thing to do. I do this a lot, like when I'm on vacation and stuff, or if my eyes are watering too much. So as you can see, it really does the trick. Honestly, too, using an eyeshadow as your eyeliner is just much more forgiving. I feel like it's a lot easier to work with than an eyeliner, especially like a felt tip one. So I'm just going to clean up any mistake that I just did. And also, there was hardly any fallout, if any, with that palette, just so you know. This is so much more easier for me, especially if you have hooded eyes. Definitely try this method instead of like an eyeliner. It's just, yeah, so much easier. And again, way more forgiving. So as you can see, look how perfect that is. It does such a nice job. Okay, so let's go into the rest of the products here. Yeah, this eye look is a little crazy, but I think it's super fun. Okay, and for mascara, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. Lash and Roll. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Benefit one. I forget what that one's called, but I'll place a picture of that here. And this is what the wand looks like. So I have not used this in a very long time. So hopefully I do like this. But I do remember I thought it was a pretty darn close dupe to the Benefit. So yeah, I just haven't used it in a long time and hopefully it's not too dried out. It seems to be grabbing my lashes really well. And yeah, I mean, look at that. Just a few strokes. It really did lift my lashes. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more because I don't think I had enough on that brush. And let's just do a couple more strokes and see what this looks like. Ooh, I need to bring this out more. This is a very nice mascara. And I don't think, from what I remember, that it did a smear or smudge or flake all over. I think I really did like this. So, yeah, I don't know why I haven't used it in a very long time. So, okay, that is just a few little coats there. So, that is really impressive. Also, let me know in the comments what your favorite affordable makeup is, your favorite mascaras. I know a lot of you are going to say the Essence ones, and honestly, those do not work on me. By the end of the day, for some reason, I look like a raccoon. They always, smear under my eyes. So I don't know what that's all about. And I'm like, do things not work for me that works for everybody? I swear, and just like that last foundation, the Fenty one worked on everybody. I went and watched I don't know how many different review videos, and I didn't see one that was negative except for mine. And I'm like, am I the only one where like these great products work for everybody and it just don't work for me? Because there's another one too, the L'Oreal inflatable, whatever it's called. That foundation, I have tried it. I don't know how many different times and it does not work for me. So I think I've purchased it two or three different times and I decluttered it again and I said I will never try that foundation again. I don't care. I'm not going through that again. Okay, I'm going to say I like that mascara a lot. I like how it lifts my lashes, but I do feel if I was to play around with that any longer, it could become clumpy. And also when I went to go flick it away, it didn't flick away very easily. So maybe that's why I don't bring it out as often, but it is a nice mascara. Okay, for the complexion, what I brought down is this here by Miss AOA. It's the pore filler. This only costs $1.88. Miss AOA, if you have not tried out their products, you really need to. Their website is just filled with amazing makeup. Nothing is over really $5, I don't think, but most everything is like $1 or $1.88, and it's really a good makeup. Okay, and for my primer, what I have on is my sunscreen, my e.l.f. Whoa Glow. I use this with everything. I think it works amazing. But today I want to also try using this, the Power Grip by e.l.f. It's their new setting spray. I do this every once in a while. I'll spray my face as a primer with my setting spray as well. So let me do that. And the mister on here is just so fine. If you haven't seen this, it is so nice. So I'm just going to tap that in and let that dry down for just a minute. And the foundation I'm going to be using is this here by Believe Beauty. I am so glad I repurchased this. This is such an amazing foundation. It's only $5. I think it's $5.50 now. I got mine in the shade Nude, but look at the packaging of this. This is a glass bottle, has a gold dispenser. It's an amazing foundation. People have talked about it for years for reasons. So I'm just going to place like 2 pumps, and this is a more matte foundation, so I'm surprised I like it as much as I do. But it will last all day on your skin. It's just very nice. It doesn't settle in my fine lines or wrinkles. And honestly, that's 2 pumps. I don't think I'm going to need that much. And I honestly think the shade is a little bit too light for me. We will find out in just a minute. And especially with summer around the corner, this will definitely be a too light. I'm trying not to get this foundation in my hair. I am notorious for that. But as you can see, how full coverage this is. I hardly used any product. I have some redness going on. Let me just do this right here, and you'll see how that just covers that pretty immediately. Yeah, this is definitely too light. And in that case, if I wasn't on a budget, uh, I would add like a bronzing drop to this foundation just to deepen it up just slightly. I do that a lot. I alter a lot of my foundations so I don't have to buy a summer shade, a winter shade, and it works just fine. But I think I'm going to be fine because I am using a bronzer today, and of course. And honestly, with a bronzer, you can really warm up a face. Okay, so that's what the foundation looks like. As you can see, it's a pretty matte formula. There is a slight glow coming through, and that could be coming, from the sunscreen here. Now, I could build this up to really make it full coverage, but with my mature skin, it can start looking cakey if I do that. So I think this is just perfect for my skin type and tone. Okay, so for the concealer, sorry, I have stuff all up here. For my concealer, again, I brought down Miss AOA. This is such a nice concealer. It's very creamy. Now, it's not super full coverage, so if you would, do have really a lot of darkness under your eyes, you might want to use like a corrector. And this one is called Looked Creamy or Locked Creamy concealer, and I got mine in the shade. It looks like just LW1. So it does have just a little tiny a doe foot, and I really don't use the doe foot anymore. How I like applying my concealers is just placing it on the back of my hand, just like that, and rubbing it in my brush. It just kind of warms up the product, I think, a little bit more. And then I go under the eye and just place it where I need it. Now, yeah, I don't like going all under the eye. I just like placing it where I have the darkness to begin with, and just kind of sweeping it up this way just to kind of lift that area. And I do have a little bit of redness over here. But this way I don't use too much product. So the most of the darkness is in my inner corner here. And then what I do is just take my finger and just kind of warm up the product. And now I do have a little bit on my finger, as you can see. And whatever's left is then I will drag that all along the lower under eye, and that way I'm not applying too much product in the wrinkles. Okay, so that is what that is looking like. And actually that concealer is a little bit more of full coverage than I remember. So I'm actually happy with that because it was looking a little dark under the eyes. Okay, and for my bronzer, what I brought down is this here by e.l.f. And this is the Luminous Putty Bronzer. This is such an amazing bronzer. I use this all the time. There's a slight glow. There's not glitter or anything like that. It just provides a nice little glow. So let me just show you. So I'm just going to place a little bit. Now, the only downfall with this is, yeah, see how hard it is to get your brush in here? Yeah, sometimes what I do is just take like a little putty, I don't know, spatula, and take some out and place it on the back of my hand, and then just kind of spread it, around in the brush, just like I did the concealer. So I do that sometimes because, again, I have a hard time getting the product out of here. It's so tiny. But as you can see, it is such a beautiful shade. It's a perfect little tone. It's a cool tone bronzer, if you ask me. It's not too orange or anything like that. So let me just place this on the forehead so you can maybe see the glow that it gives. Yeah, it's not really flat or matte, which I really enjoy. So I was thinking, I know we had talked about a live before, so I'm thinking actually next Sunday or this coming up Sunday, today is Friday for me. So this is the time this goes out. It will be the Monday after a Mother's Day. So it will be that Sunday coming up, and I wish I remembered what the date would be. So I think Friday is the 17th. So I'm thinking the 19th. And maybe like around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I am, what am I, Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, maybe 4 o'clock on Sunday, the 19th. Let me know if that would work for most of you in the comments. Yeah, I definitely want to do a live, and maybe what I was thinking, we could do like a Q&A. I've always wanted to do one of those. Now, I've tried one before. I put out in the community tab, asking you guys, to write down some questions, and I didn't get, like a lot because I don't think a lot of you see that community tab post or the comments or anything like that. So I don't know how else we could do it. Maybe in Thursday's video, you guys could write down some questions that you want, or you can maybe go on my Instagram and DM me. So yeah, I don't know a good way to go about getting that, the questions, because like I said, I don't think you guys see a lot of the posts that I put out, especially through the community one. Okay, with this foundation, I don't need to use a lot of powder, so I'm just going to powder the T-zone. And what I'm going to use is my Wet n Wild. This is such an amazing, affordable powder. Honestly, I use this, more often, believe it or not, than a lot of my high end. So it's just very finely milled. My makeup, when I use it, lasts a little longer. So I really enjoy it. And you get a tons of product. I mean, that's crazy. So I'm just going to take a poof here and place quite a bit of the product on there, and just place a little bit on the back of my hand just to really take some of that powder off, and just basically powder the T-zone. Okay, and for blush, I brought down again by Believe Beauty. This is in the shade A Second Chance. And the reason why I brought down this shade here, it's because I kind of knew where I was going to go with this eye look. But this is the shade here. Isn't that beautiful? This side is matte, and then this side is more like a glowy shade. So you can mix the two. You can just use the matte one, or this as a topper. So I'm actually going to mix it because this is more of a matte foundation, and that way you guys can see the glow that it gives. So I'm just going to place a little bit, and I think it's going to match this eye look just beautifully. So I mean, isn't that pretty? So again, you can see a little bit of the glow, just a little bit too much. So I'm just going to dip into the matte shade here and apply that and just calm down that glow. So when I use this, I definitely do not have to use a highlighter, because yeah, see that how it just bounces off the light. I mean, their products are absolutely beautiful. So I'm just going to place a little bit in my eyeshadow like I normally do. And again, I'm just going to place a little bit on this side. And I went in with both the shades mixed at first. That way I get that beautiful glow. And again, I'm just going to go into that matte shade and just calm down that glow. It's not a glitter. I can't explain. Let me just kind of swatch that so you can see. It's like that typical topper. It reminds me a lot of the One Size by Patrick Starr. But as you can see, there's no glitter. It's just a glow. Another one this reminds me of is the Cover FX one. They had something like this as well. So it's just so pretty. So yeah, Believe Beauty has amazing products. Okay, so that's what that looks like. I think that goes really well with this look. And again, I'm going to spray my face using the e.l.f. and this is the Power of Grip. So let's do that. Now, I will say I love this spray, and I love how fine it is, but it's almost like it's too fine. Are you guys getting that? I feel like I'm using more than I should, because you cannot, almost not feel it when you spray your face. So let me know about that, because I feel like I'm using more than I normally do, because, when you use other setting sprays, you can really feel it applying to your skin, and this one, it just kind of almost evaporates before it gets to my face. So that is my only complaint. Okay, so let's go back into the palette, and I think I want to add a little bit of color to this look. So let's use this shade right here. It's like a plum or a purple, and I'm just going to place that on a flat brush and place that on the lower lash line. Ooh, that is really pretty. That just kind of changes the look completely. Ooh, see how I just added just a little bit of something? Yeah, it definitely needed something more than just the orange going on. So this just will break that up. So, oh, I like that. That is such a beautiful shade. Yeah, I definitely have to come up with a look using this shade. That is so pretty. I bet you if I even would have added that on the lid, on the upper lid, like in the outer corner, this would have looked really pretty as well. Okay, all we have left to do is the lips, and what I brought down is this one here by LA Girl. This one's called the Perfect Precision, and I got mine in the shade a Sugar Spice. If you haven't tried their lip liners, you really need to, and they're only like $1.75. These are so nice. What I love about these is they're definitely not too creamy and they're not dry. And why I love that is because you can apply some pressure to the lip and not worry about them breaking. So that is the shade there. Isn't that a beautiful shade? And I think it goes with this look really well. Okay, so for a lipstick, what I brought down is this one here by e.l.f. And this is called the Pout Clout Lip Plumping Pen. And this is in the shade a Pinky Out. So a lot of people like these and a lot of people don't. So they think it's too sticky. I see what they're saying. If you apply too much, it can get a little, yeah, I don't know, sticky. So you just got to be very careful. So what I like to do is apply it and then use my pinky, I'll pinky out, and just kind of blend that in. And that way, when you go to move your lips, you don't get that, I don't know, stringy effect. So I see what people are saying. If you use too much, that will happen. Okay, so this is the final look. What do you guys think? It's definitely a different, something I haven't done quite often on this channel. But if you guys remember, the color of the year is peach. So this kind of goes with that as well. And I think it's just super fun for summer. And it definitely matches my shirt here, Arizona, Sedona. Okay, so that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, if you please do me a huge favor before you go, hit that like button. It truly does help me out. And again, I would love to hear what you guys did for Mother's Day. Let me know in the comments. I love reading them. All right, I can't wait to see you guys again. I love you so much. And until next time.